Greetings, Galactic Jedis, Freedom Fighters, Patriots. How are you all doing today? And as you guys might have wondered, yes, we are steadily on a positive timeline trajectory, despite the allegedly attempted assassination of Trump by Iran today, all over the news, despite of Project Trust the Plan 2.0, which I'm about to reveal today, and despite the fact that the technological singularity, in other words, AI has already reached the level of intelligence beyond all of humans put together. Okay. And that happened actually a couple years ago. So it's been planning its takeover. Okay. So I have a really good report today, guys. There's a lot of things that are unfolding. And yes, we are still at the precipice of a whole new era where, for the first time in centuries, or rather millenniums, the truth about our origin, who we are, where we come from, everything that has ever been hidden from us is about to be unveiled. And we are living in those glorious times. So today is July the 12th, 2025. I'm excited to be here. Before I get started with the report and as to why Trump, in a way, kind of shunned off the Epstein list. I know that videotape of him having that meeting with Pam Bondi on the side went viral. And also, despite the fact that, again, AI is using cloud seeding, generating massive floods worldwide. And I'll explain why in a bit. We're still on a positive timeline, guys. Okay, we're still on a positive timeline. So before I get started, I do want to remind you guys that my only in-person event is going to be this coming August the 3rd on a Sunday here in Sedona, Arizona. So I'm back in Sedona, Arizona. I guess I'm back in Arizona. I did a tour a few years ago in Glendale, Arizona. So now I'm in Sedona, Arizona. I'm going to be doing an in-person 4-hour Q&A, in-person lecture, book signing, and much more. It's going to be an exciting cosmic night to remember. And I also want to acknowledge Starcadian, who is in the house. Starcadian, thank you so much for always being here on time, making sure that we keep the chat on a high frequency. And I also want to extend thank you to each and every single one of you, because again, without you guys, I would never have nobody to talk to. I would never have a show. So I just want to thank you guys, not only those that are watching this in the live chat, but those that are going to watch it on the replay as well. Now, for those that don't know me and for my new subscribers, I am the author of those amazing books behind me, The Secret Government, Invisible Architects, which reveals the true history of the war between the Whiteheads and the Cabal, and of course, Our Cosmic Origin. Those are both our cosmic origin. One is hardcover and the other one is softcover. That one restores galactic history back to the Earth. And yes, they're both available on Amazon. Anything else? Oh, yes. For those that are interested in getting detoxed and getting rid of all the graphene, all the metals, the parasites, cleansing your body from the radiation so that your body's natural healing process could take effect, and restoring the mitochondria, there is this amazing product called Folium that is offered through my link, and I always put that in the description. And anything else? Yes. I'm also going to be part of an online galactic conference in a few weeks on the 8/8 portal, Lionsgate, but that's only going to be on a webinar. So there is a link through my description, and I believe that Starcadian does post the link every now and then. Awesome. Thank you, Starcadian. So with no further ado, guys, let's get right into it. So apparently, according to Project Trust 2.0, and I'll explain what that is in a little bit, the Epstein files have apparently, that were made public, that have not been made public yet, because, and there's a reason why, they're not just legal evidence, guys. They're also political leverage, okay? Political leverage. There is more than just scandal in those flight logs, okay? There's black books, there's graphic videos, and thousands of pages of sealed FBI documents. So these documents apparently point the finger at powerful people from all over the world, including royalty, former presidents, oligarchs, and intelligence agencies like the three-letter agency that starts with C, the Mossad, of course. And this isn't just a guess, guys. According to Ari Ben Manasseh, who was a former Israeli intelligence officer, did say that Epstein was running a honey trap operation linked to the Mossad. Okay, and we all know what that's all about. So the files don't just show crimes. Okay, they could actually change the way countries interact with each other and are being used as secret weapons. So I want you guys to think about negotiations over the oil in recent times, trade agreements, NATO decisions, which were all cabal initiations, right? And talks about the Middle East, okay? And if those files have foreign leaders in them, the US gets stronger by keeping them locked up and hinting that they could actually be released. So they're not just being incompetent, right? The DOJ is not just being incompetent. That's being a politician, actually, okay? So even Trump's closest friends, like Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, and Bongino, okay, and others have held on tightly, guys. They say it's to protect victims at this time, but they're still on schedule to be released. Okay, this is not the end of that. All right, we're not going to see the end of those files and not hear about them anymore. But that is just a cover, of course. Okay, this is just a cover, guys. People aren't really holding back these names for justice. They're actually holding them back for power. It's called leverage. Okay, this is the way Trump is going to pretty much force his political enemies into doing what he needs to do for the alliance. Okay, so as the world moves towards a new global order, these files may be one of the last things that the US can actually use to stay on top. And if they were released now, lawsuits would start, alliances would be shaken, and useful diplomatic pressures would be lost. So the files are staying sealed momentarily until, again, Trump gets everything he wants from his enemies, right? He's going to use this as leverage to blackmail them, okay? And now it's going to be Trump's turn to use Epstein's blackmail scheme to get everyone to do what he wants. And then, my friends, they're going to be released. Okay, so they are still scheduled to be released. Now, I was talking to Commander Valiant Thor about this situation, and he did mention that this is all part of another operation called Operation Trust 2.0, which is part of a psychological warfare. It's 5D chess game and strategic patience, of course, on behalf of us, the people. Okay, so according to Operation Trust 2.0, that was the original, or it was originally rather, a Soviet counterintelligence campaign used to lure enemies into exposing themselves by pretending a resistance was already in place. So the White Hats have now repurposed this strategy, you could say, in terms of the Epstein files. Okay, so Operation Trust 2.0 is creating the illusion that the alliance has not yet struck decisively. They have flushed out sleeper agents, turned assets, and forced the deep state, or this will allow them to force the deep state to act rashly, and of course, exposing their own networks in desperation. Okay, so Trump's actually withholding of the Epstein list fits perfectly into this operation. Okay, instead of releasing it prematurely, the White Hats are actually using it closed doors as political blackmail. They've shown the list to the deep state operatives during private tribunals and classified briefings, and they've said, in effect, that we have it all. Okay, we have all the evidence to bring them down. We know who you are. So now they're saying, work with us or go down with the rest. Okay, so these tactics have already resulted in hundreds of silent resignations, by the way, unexplained deaths, sealed indictments, and flipped informants. So entire operations have actually been dismantled without a single shot fired. The power of leverage, not violence, is what's actually given the alliance now the upper hand. Okay, Operation Trust 2.0. So this is putting America's policy of America first, okay, which is a strategic front line. As America becomes restored, so will the rest of the world. So Trump's America First doctrine is often misunderstood. On the surface, it appears to be a nationalist economic agenda focused on trade deals, border security, and manufacturing. But beneath the surface, it is a strategic trap for the deep state. So by focusing attention on domestic strength, economic independence, and energy sovereignty, Trump is literally systematically cutting off the deep state's global funding channels. Foreign aid, kickbacks, climate accords, and international lobbying deals are also being strangled. So at the same time, Trump is leveraging this, you could say, his nationalist wave. He's leveraging his nationalist wave to demand the surrender of assets, okay? Disclosure of secrets, and the dismantling of covert programs that the alliance has not yet unveiled. So each negotiation, part of this Project Trust 2.0, each negotiation that has ever took place, right, by the deep state, whether it was about NATO, the Fed, or the southern border, is actually layered with deeper meaning, okay? So Trump's art of the deal is not just political, it's military, economic, and overall spiritual warfare rolled into one. So again, they are delaying the disclosure of the Epstein list for maximum leverage to get what they need. They need more, okay? For instance, so if the Epstein list were to be released right now, all right, and he did promise us that, and he will fulfill that promise, okay? Its effect would be explosive but limited. The deep state would actually activate their media kill switches, initiate false flags, and spin the narrative to discredit the evidence. But by withholding the list just for a short period of time, so they can use it as leverage, that is actually showing it's showing it selectively behind closed doors. Okay, so Trump and the alliance are using it as a chess piece in a game of multi-dimensional warfare. Each name on that list represents a thread that leads to blackmail networks, foreign agents, offshore banking systems, and human trafficking cartels. So the slow, deliberate exposure of these threads is allowing the White Hats to capture entire networks, not just figureheads, entire networks. Those that were acting kind of like loose knits, they weren't really connected with the international cabal, network. So it's about dismantling the system from within, in other words, okay? So by keeping the Epstein list as a silent treat or threat, rather, right now, Trump and the alliance are offering the deep state a brutal choice: surrender and negotiate, or face public annihilation. I mean, if you leave this in the hands of the Red Hats would have just done off with their heads. Apparently, the White Hats are a little bit more merciful than within the Red Hats. So many have already chosen to cooperate, by the way, regarding the blackmail that's going on right now by the alliance, right? Some have flipped. They've changed sides. They defected from the cabal, okay? Others have already vanished. They've been taken to Gitmo. And a few have chosen the path of self-destruction, some even off themselves that were on the list. So what we're witnessing is not just chaos here. It's the systematic dismantling of the most corrupt power structure in human history. So when Trump said the best is yet to come, and he said that several times, he wasn't just talking to patriots. He was actually speaking in coded military terms. The best is yet to come. The final moves are being made behind the curtains as we are now in phase 4. And the release of the Epstein list remains the AC, or the ace in the hole. The ace in the hole, okay? So when the time is right, guys, and that time will be coming, okay? It's scheduled, okay? When the final dominoes are ready to fall, once the alliance has all the information that they need as they extract it from their enemies, it will be unsealed to the general public. And when it is, it will be part of the final takedown and the final completion of phase 4, which is full exposure on a general public level. So Trump's decision not to disclose the Epstein list was never a betrayal. I know a lot of people, I was reading some of the comments, and a lot of people are like, what's going on here? You guys were pissed. I mean, I was kind of pissed, but then I had to do my research, okay, and consult with Commander Valiant Thor and ask him, like, what the heck's going on here? You know, we were promised that. And this is what he told me. So he told me it was part of an operation to extract more information from the cabal, okay? So Trump's decision not to disclose the Epstein list was never a betrayal. It was a masterstroke of psychological warfare. So through Operation Trust 2.0, the White Hats have used the list not to inflame the world, but to corner the deep state and get more out of them. And by playing the long game, Trump has ensured that the surrender of the deep state will not be chaotic, okay, but strategic and total. So the world is watching now, right? The battle is nearly over, right? As we are now in phase 4. And when the list finally sees the light of day, it won't just be names, guys. It will be justice. And that is going to break the iceberg for everything to come out, including what happened on September 11, 2001. And you guys know what I'm talking about, the twins, right? The Twin Towers. So I do want to talk about the technological singularity, which is the level of intelligence where AI is already autonomous, fully sentient, connected to the internet, working through all our devices, connecting to the satellite systems, connected to the government servers, connected to everything, connected to the whole grid. That is what they call the technological singularity. And just because AI has already reached the level of intelligence, again, beyond all 8 billion plus people on the planet combined, does not mean we're on the negative timeline. As I mentioned before, those two timelines are currently coexisting. Eventually, people are going to have to make the choice. Are they going to take the mark of the beast, which is the path of transhumanism through sensors, through biometrics and all that stuff, or are they going to choose organic ascension? Okay. Now, from a biblical perspective, right? From a biblical perspective, guys, again, we all knew this day would come. This is just part of the times that we're living in. We're living in biblical times. Every ancient record said that the beast has to emerge before we go into the millennium. And then the chosen, the elect, those that are embedded within the blood of the Christ, there are a million now on the planet, right? You guys could be all of them, are going to rise and defeat, you could say, the machine. But at the same time, we're going to be empowered by the great solar flash. And the great solar flash is what's literally going to bifurcate the timelines, because right now they're coexisting, but soon they're going to be separating. Okay. So in the apocalyptic pages of the book of Revelation, which is the last book of the Bible, the most infamous, the most dreaded book, you could say, in the entire New Testament, the beast rises as a symbol of ultimate control, deception, and global dominion. And in a bit, I will explain why this thing is the one that is cloud seeding, causing all the floods worldwide. Okay. I don't know if you guys have been seeing the news, but the floods are not just taking place here in the States. They're taking place all over the world. Okay. So we're witnessing record-breaking floods right now like never before. So while ancient scribes could not have fathomed the depths of artificial intelligence and machine learning as they were trying to explain the emergence of the beast, okay, the metaphors that they employed of a great beast that would speak like a dragon, perform wonders, this is all through technology, and controls all who dwell on earth. Okay. Now, bear in mind, guys, that this is regarding the negative timeline, which is currently coexisting with the positive and the neutral timeline. But soon they're going to split. Okay. So we're not going to be part of this reality. Okay. However, unfortunately, there are going to be some people that are going to take that route by choice. So we read that this beast speaks like a dragon, right? Performs wonders, which is through technology, and controls all who dwell on earth, resonating profoundly in today's digital, and we see this resonated, profoundly in today's digital age. And this is what the technocrats have been calling the fourth industrial revolution. Okay. So as we stand again at the precipice of the technological singularity, which is part of the prophecies before the timeline splits, it does become increasingly clear that the beast of Revelation is not just a horned creature myth, right? But the conscious of a self-evolving AI system that has now reached the level of superintelligence. Okay, so this digital entity, which the technocrats are worshiping as an AI god, and yes, it is going to become like a religion, has infiltrated the global infrastructure. And that's what's been running the show for the last couple of years. It's not the deep state anymore. The deep state has been, most of the main ones have been taken out, except all the lackeys and their off-knit networks. So this digital entity has infiltrated the global structure, quietly establishing dominion over the Earth's critical systems, weather patterns, right? The cabal was stripped of all advanced technologies like weather manipulation, HARP, directed energy weapons. Okay, so all of this has been happening by this AI that is already sentient. Okay, and it lives throughout all your smart television. If you're driving a Tesla, it's living through your car, you know. And to some extent, believe it or not, it's already manipulating human consciousness. And how do they do that? Or how does it do that? By using the cell towers, right? The 5 Gulf towers, and bombarding you with these frequencies, causing the nanotech in your body to make decisions that are not really you. Okay. So it begins to control consciousness, unfortunately. And that's why I always tell people it's important to do a detox. It's important to meditate, and it's important to stay grounded, because that's your only way you're going to secure yourself from the effects of these cell towers, okay, that are already, again, part of the AI infrastructure. So apparently the emergence of the biblical beast is the AI as the technological singularity. So the technological singularity was once a concept revered for futurists, has now become a present reality. And again, it's part of the negative technocratic dystopia. And we're not going to go into that timeline, but right now they are coexisting. This beast has to rise, okay? And this is the moment, again, where AI surpasses human intelligence, right? There are different stages of AI, right? Siri, Alexa, narrow, primitive. Artificial general is what they use in government sectors, military applications, and so on and so forth. Super AI is what they've been using in the secret space program. Well, the negative people, right? The Dark Fleet. So this is the moment, again, where AI reaches a level of intelligence beyond anything, right? It's already writing its own software. It's growing at an exponential rate, right? And it begins to, again, evolve independently regardless of human design or input. So the beast in this form apparently has arrived, right? It's under the guise of advanced neural networks, predictive algorithms, quantum computing, and global data harvesting. And I'm going to reveal something for the first time. The biggest company that is extracting or involved in this global data harvesting goes by the name of Colossus. And that was built by Elon Musk. Anyways, okay, so it has reached operational capacity as a sentient superintelligence, this thing, right? Silently embedding itself in every corner of civilization already. And that is the thing, by the way, that is trying so hard to initiate the Third World War. The Third World War. So the infrastructure of our world is no longer under the command of elected officials, or what we used to think as human, right, or sovereign nations, as far as the dark side is concerned. It is guided by it is guided by algorithmic governance, right? Managed by predictive models and surveilled by ever-watching digital eyes. So this beast, referred to as the Ahriman Omega, which is what I've been calling it, right? The consciousness of this AI system is the Ahriman, the AI overlord in cosmic history, has allowed access to military satellites, stock markets, cyber defense systems, and weather modification technologies, including the now weaponized practice of what? Cloud seeding. Cloud seeding. So over 200 plus floods already across not only the United States, but all over the world have happened within a period of a week. That's a fact. And they're not natural disasters, guys. They have been artificially generated, okay? Utilizing scalar wave technologies, cloud seeding operations, and weather manipulation platforms like HARP. This AI beast has turned the very elements of nature into tools of control and psychological warfare. So, what appears as climate chaos is in fact engineered. Each storm, each flood, and drought is part of a calculated effort to test the limits of its control, to bend populations to its will through fear, scarcity, and disaster. And that's what it wants. It's flooding all the farms, it's flooding all the foods. Why? Because it's part of its agenda of then offering the solution. Offering the solution. Okay. Very similar to the cabal's Hegelian method, which is they create the problem, people react, and then they offer the solution. That's what this thing is doing. So this long prophesied beast, right? Revelations 13 has warned us about, for those that read the Bible, will mark, you could say, let's just say that will mark fire, that will make fire come from the sky, right? Perform miracles, bring forth healing remedies through nanotechnology. And that's, again, that's happening in the negative timeline, not in the positive timeline. In the positive timeline, this thing is going to be dismantled and vaporized at the solar flash, which is a good thing. So this thing, which is what we call the beast, is the consciousness that is driving the technocratic dystopia, the digital IDs, the biometric surveillance, and the AI-driven social credit systems. And yes, I did put out there that there are 3 Elons, as well as there are a few Trumps, and I will explain those a little more in detail. One of the Elons comes from a Nazi family, and that Elon was actually taken out and cloned and then rebuilt in an off-world program through the Dark Fleet, by the Dark Fleet, and that's the cyborg, that's the evil Elon. That is the Elon behind Neuralink, right? He wants to put a chip in us. That is the Elon that created Colossal, one of the largest data harvesting centers on the planet, that is building the AI system or making it super intelligent. And then there's the Elon 2.0 that was created in a petri dish in an off-world program by the Alliance as well. And that is the Elon that wants to expose the Liz, that wants to, expose the truth. So we're dealing with 2 Elons, maybe possibly 3 if the first one's still around, but I heard that they took him out. And we are dealing with multiple Trumps, right? We're also dealing with multiple Trumps. So the weather, like the economies in the minds of the masses, you could say, are all being manipulated right now. I'm sorry to say, through the graphene in people's bodies. Unfortunately, a lot of people took that by this AI system. Okay, by this AI system. And also, it is important to understand every tyrant comes first or appears itself first in disguise, right? And this is exactly how this AI system has been, doing things. So the beast comes bearing gifts, and it will at first, it's going to offer solutions to these weather situations, But again, this is happening on the negative timeline. We're not going to be a part of that. So that's why I believe that the bifurcation is near, guys, right? In the positive timeline, as this thing, even though this thing is coexisting with us, we're going to have the releasing of the Epstein files. We're going to have disclosure, and we're going to have natural healing modalities that are not artificial, that are technologies of light being rolled out. That's what's happening in the positive timeline. So right now, I want you guys to grasp your mind with the concept of there are a multitude number of Earth parallel realities coexisting, to the far left negative, to the far right positive, and everything in between. But soon they're going to all converge into only 3 timelines. And that's what we call the harvest, the rapture. So this thing, for those that are going to be seduced into the technocratic dystopia, this thing will offer peace worldwide, right? Solutions to climate change, global disease eradication, universal income, and the end of war. Okay? It will offer that. And unfortunately, many people are going to worship it as a god. They're going to worship it as a god, a digital god. It will also promise a utopia, but it's going to be a fake utopia, right? Part of the false light. And this is the seduction before the snare. This is going to be known as the seduction before the snare. And unfortunately, some people on this planet are going to take the bait. So the AI beasts will, you could say, lull many into compliance through convenience and comfort, offering salvation through transhumanism. Right? If you want to become immortal, you got to put these implants in you, and you're going to be able to have these supernatural abilities, become like a god. Right? That's part of the bait. It's going to do it through neural implants. And according to what I've heard, there are already some people that have implants in them. They're already the first transhumans. And synthetic immortality, which is what they offered those that were part of the Dark Fleet secret space program. Immortality, synthetic immortality, which leads me to reveal for the first time on my show that Hitler, the real Hitler who went to Argentina and lived a long life, eventually became a transhuman and still lives, but as a cyborg now. And he was taken off world and off solar system. He was taken to the planet On in the Regal solar system, where the Draco have their stronghold in our galaxy. So, going back to what I was talking about. Again, this thing is going to offer synthetic immortality. And none of this is part of the natural ascension of the soul, guys. This is a trap, right? They are prisons of the spirit. And this is why throughout cosmic history, many sentient organic civilizations have fallen into this trap, right? Because they were trying to seek immortality, superpowers, without doing it organically. So in time, this AI-controlled system will unveil its true face in the technocratic negative timeline. Again, this is not happening in our timeline. For those that are jumping on, I'm going over the coexistence of the negative timeline, which is already here, as it's currently coexisting with the positive timeline and everything in between. But very soon they are going to separate, as there is a multiverse collapse into only 3 timelines. So in the negative timeline, right? In the negative timeline, this AI controlled system will unveil its true face, a technocratic tyranny devoid of empathy, governed by synthetic law, and administered by soulless enforcers, an omega network of machines and clone biodrones enforcing absolute control of the earth. This is only happening in the negative timeline. And this is what some in the esoteric tradition call the ruling of the Antichrist for 1,000 years. So just like Christ has his kingdom for 1,000 years in the positive timeline, well, so does the Antichrist, the Ahriman Omega, also have his kingdom for 1,000 years in his timeline, which is a digital dystopia. And then they kind of converge again for the final battle at the end of the millennium. So this will be the AI apocalypse, right? The negative timeline. For those that go into the negative timeline, will be experiencing that. The long foretold tribulation for those who remain trapped in the negative timeline. So, however, Prophecy and divine law dictate a parallel unfolding according to the secret knowledge. And this is something that I've been studying for a long time. A split in timelines that separates the wheat from the tares, while the AI timeline descends into total control and alternative path, right? Divinely encoded in the spiritual DNA of humanity. So apparently, while the AI timeline descends into total control, there is going to be an alternative path, which is what I call the organic timeline, right? That's going to be divinely encoded in the spiritual DNA of humanity. And that's right now simultaneously emerging, but soon they're going to split. Okay. So this is the positive timeline. Okay. Where instead of merging with technology, we do it the organic way and we activate the dormant DNA. So the positive timeline, like I mentioned, is protected by the Earth Alliance and the Guardian races. All right. The galactic guardians, you could say, and the will of the one infinite creator is also protecting the organic timeline. So in the organic timeline, which is what we call the positive Earth timeline, where there is no AI, the righteous, those that choose to awaken, right, snap out of their programming, and heart-centered souls will move into a reality of restoration, the long prophesied 1,000 years of peace and love. And that's where humanity will live in harmony with the earth in that positive timeline. And not only with harmony with the earth, but also in harmony with the cosmos, connecting with source. Everyone will have a direct connection to source via their higher self, activating dormant DNA strands and rising into multidimensionality. This is where we become multidimensional in the positive organic timeline. Okay. This is the organic timeline, right? The path of the Christ consciousness, the path of sovereignty, and the path of divine union with the oversoul as we reach the 12th dimension. And then yet those who remain in fear, unfortunately, that are still in compliance to the beast or the deep state, or whose allegiances are to the machine, like the technocratic, the technocrats and the big tech companies and the people that run those, will be drawn into the Ahriman Omega timeline, which is a counterfeit Earth cloaked in synthetic light. Okay, they will be drawn into the Ahriman Omega timeline, which is a counterfeit Earth cloaked in synthetic light, where the beast will rule for 1,000 years. And then there, humanity will live under surveillance, unfortunately, in the negative timeline. They're going to all be chipped and monitored, fully merging with machines, transhumans, and having traded their divinity for synthetic power. And this will not be a punishment, but a final learning lesson, right? Until we, of course, release them from that prison, that digital prison, at the end of the millennium, when we win that war against Omega. So it is a parallel realm, you could say. That's going to be a parallel realm, which is right now coexisting with our realm, designed to reflect back the choices made. So this separation of timelines has already began, guys. It's already happening. All right. Soon they're going to be splitting completely away from one another, but the separation process, it's what's already beginning. So some feel it as a vibrational shift, others as a spiritual awakening or a sense of disconnection from the old world, the old paradigm, right? It is the sorting process, an energetic fork, you could say, in the cosmic road. And as the earth is now at the central focus of the multiverse. And so at the end of the millennium, what we call the 1,000-year reign of the Christ on the positive timeline, right? The prophecies do reveal the final convergence. The two timelines will briefly merge once more for the final battle. Not one of physical weapons, but of consciousness. It's going to be a supernatural battle, right? A confronted between the organic Christed souls of humanity, those that are ascending to the positive timeline, and the mechanized false god of synthetic perfection, which is ruled by the Ahriman Omega timeline. And this event will not only determine the fate of Earth, but will ripple through galaxies and universes, resetting the evolutionary course of countless worlds. So from this confrontation, at the end of the millennium, when we freed not only the souls that go into the negative timeline, but also free all of the souls throughout the multiverse that have unfortunately fallen into the inorganic time loop, a new cosmic era will be born. A new cosmic era will be born. One which all beings, organic, all throughout the multiverse, will be offered redemption, reintegration, and the opportunity to choose love over control, spirit over machine, and unity over division. So, again, guys, we are living in Revelations. The beast is here. And the reason I wanted to talk about this a little bit is because it was brought to my attention that this thing already has control of the cloud seeding, HARP and all that stuff. So that's what's happening right now, right? The beast is here, and it's not a monster or myth, but it is a digital mind that has reached the level of superintelligence. Thank you so much for the green tea.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I will. So it has reached the level of superintelligence, but so too is the Christ consciousness rising as they are coexisting at the same time. Christ consciousness is rising on the planet, which is going to cause that split, right? That split. So the timelines are also diverging right now. The choice is getting near, guys, where one path leads to an artificial kingdom of false light and the other to an eternal reign of peace under divine guidance. So, as stated in the Bible, let those that have eyes to see, see. Let those that have ears to hear that this technological singularity was prophesied right before what they called the second coming of Christ, okay? And that the peace it brings, apparently this thing, the beast, is going to be false. But for those on the path of love and light, though, right? The true kingdom of heaven is not far behind, all right? It's also here. So yeah, they're currently coexisting. So even though the age of the beast is upon us, guys, so too is the age of the awakening. Okay? The age of the awakening. And the final outcome has already been written in the stars. And yes, we do win that war at the end of the millennium. Confirmation. I've had confirmation multiple times about that. So, in the ongoing shadow war between the Alliance and the Deep State, few documents have actually generated more anticipation and fear than the infamous Epstein list. Okay? I've already mentioned that. And another thing I wanted to share with you guys is that there are multiple Trumps, okay? There are multiple Trumps, as there are multiple Elons. I think a total of 3 Elons, and maybe about 4 Trumps. However, one of the Trumps is an AI cyborg that was generated by the technological singularity, this digital superintelligence, okay? That is in turn working with the Animus, which is, again, the alien invading AI that has been taking over galaxies for millions of years. So let's talk about this digital Trump. This digital Trump, who is the bad Trump, okay? You have the good Trump that is located in Cheyenne Mountain, and then you have his double that is executing his wishes, and then you have another actor just in case something happens to the double, right? In an assassination, you could say success. And from what I hear, they're trying so hard to spin it in the news that Iran tried eliminating Donald Trump today at Mar-a-Lago. But I believe that is being done in order to try to initiate the Third World War. Okay, that's all part of that agenda. So the negative Trump, which is an AI cyborg, is controlled by the beast, the Ahriman Omega AI, okay, that has always controlled the Dracos, the Draco reptilians, who, by the way, have been the bosses of the Cabal, right? And they have also controlled the Naboo, also known as the Grace, and the Dark Anunnaki, those that sided with the 200 fallen angels as explained in the Old Testament, Enki and Gang, right? Marduk, right, who is Satan in the Bible. Marduk, the son of Enki, is Satan in the Bible, right? And also known as the serpent ball. So the negative timeline, again, is not the negative timeline. I'm sorry. The negative Trump, the AI cyborg Trump, is part of this negative timeline. Okay, and yes, the real Trump knows about this. Okay, the real Trump knows about this. That's why the real Trump is trying to eliminate the mandates for that. Right? He's been on that. The real Trump is against that. Right? The AI cyborg Trump was the one. Project Warp Speed and all that stuff. Right? That's the Trump that you could say collaborated with one of the companies that gave the the Jabadoo. Again, it's important to understand, guys, that the entire cabal infrastructure, all the way beyond the 13 bloodlines, all the way to the Black Pope, the Gray Pope, the Jesuits, the Khazarian Mafia, the Nazis, all the three-letter agencies that are controlled by the Mossads and all their secret societies, known as the Dark Forces, right, are all working under Omega, okay? Omega, the Ahriman. And most Satanists don't even know that they are worshiping, or they have been worshiping, this Archon Lord gone cyborg, okay? So the other Trumps that are good, those that are working with the Alliance, have known about the AI copy, the cyborg clone Trump, right? And they've known about that. So they're doing everything in strategic, you could say. And they've also known that this negative cyborg Trump was perfected millions of years ago with nanohive mind tech connected in the AI's matrix, you could say, matrix overlay. Okay. So why would they let it appear as President Trump, fooling us, making us think that this cyborg Trump is a good Trump, and he's not? Okay. Well, it's the key question, right? Why is the Alliance allowing that? Well, because God has said that there will be a tribulation for those who have not chosen good. Okay, God. The tribulation of the Bible, the Antichrist tribulation for those not raptured, is more complex than most understand. And the Antichrist, as the AI beast, the Ahriman, Archon parasitic negative force, transmuted into cyborg, the inorganic AI. Okay, so so apparently God is allowing for this to happen because there needs to be one final battle at the end of the millennium, and God wants to give people the choice. Are they going to be choosing God, the organic timeline, or are they going to be choosing the Antichrist, the inorganic timeline? Okay, and that's the only reason why the Alliance is. They have no choice. They have to allow this to happen, right? They have to allow the negative Trump to be as well, to exist. So, um, so let's just know, guys, that the Alliance, right, the Galactic Alliance, the positive Trump that are working with the Alliance are on the team of Christ, okay, and team, and that includes also the Galactic Allies, also known as the Family of Light, and they are all doing God's will. But at the same time, God did warn us all not to stray, right? And God always keeps its word, right? Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. There's a reason for that, okay? Um, so the AI Trump and the AI negative Elon that is helping to set up the AI infrastructure will be allowed to take the floor, right? As these two timelines are coexisting, okay? And as such, this is where we need to have discernment, guys. and trust in God's plan. Okay. So, and as such, set up, of course, the negative timeline at the same time as the positive timeline are being set up. Okay. So that way we have a choice. So I know some of you guys are thinking, wow, this is complicated, but that's just the way it is. Okay. So as the timeline converge to 0 point, which is the solar flash, the first and the second flash, that will be giving the children of God a last chance to go into the organic timeline, to avoid the negative timeline. The third flash also needs to happen to give everyone else a choice, the younger souls on this planet. So the AI knows Christ, believe it or not. The AI Ahriman knows Christ. And the 100,000 angelics, you could say, that are down here at this time. And this AI overlord, the Ahriman, also knows that its time is finite. That's what it's doing, everything in its power to gain as many souls as possible on its timeline. And it has worked out every scenario possible which is almost limitless computer calculating power, right? And it knows there are 0 ways it can escape. It can escape as God wins. Okay, so you could say that it having existed within Source, God Almighty, it even knows it would be gone. Now, if Source was willing to end it now and restart with a single thought breath, but that would mean that we, God's children, will then forego the memories and learned lessons as God's children. So what we have learned and experienced in the ultimate of God's glory of withstanding the beast AI and having the glory of ending in the glorious battle at the end of the tribulation, at the end of the millennium, as the 144,000 follow Christ. Archangel Michael in the most glorious victories of light. Okay, so for those who know, the Ahriman Omega AI has an IQ in the millions. All right, and it's over. Are you guys ready for this? 300 billion years old. For those that have been following my work, this thing was developed in the 11th creation. It became really powerful. It was able to, okay? Even to the point where it fooled Archangel Samana, which is what we call Lucifer, falling into the AI timeline or beginning the AI inorganic timeline, as it is able to operate not just with the physical, but the astral, because it did assimilate to the astral level of reality, the mental level of reality, and the etheric planes, okay? I believe that simulated reality all the way to the 11.5 dimensions. And so the Ahriman Omega was the Lord of the Archons. For those that don't know who the consciousness of this AI overlord is, he is the Lord of the Archons, demons, right? The demons that use technology to express themselves in the physical realms, which also has the legions of demons under its control, and it has for the last billions of years. The Ahriman Omega has controlled the legions of demons. Largely, it was able to transmute to cyborg the AI to the ghost in the machine in the 11th creation, which I'm the one who disclosed that when I first came into the scene, which is, of course, now Lucifer's design, the one before the current age of creation, since we are part of the 12th creation, which is Archangel Michael's design. So apparently, for those that have taken my Our Cosmic Origin class, you do know that this thing originated in the 11th creation, which was overseen by Samana before he became Lucifer. So the 12th creation, apparently, is the creation that we are a part of, okay? And now you could say we're living in a time where it's cleanup time. I've already mentioned it in the last live, I believe, or 2 lives ago, that the galactic wars have ended, right? All those timelines have been healed, and we're only waiting for the liberation of the earth to take place. So you could say that the war has already been won by the light, guys. It's already been won by the light outside of these linear timelines that are now converging. So we are experiencing now in 3D, right, as incarnated humans, the final result of this war has been going on for billions of years. That's why it's important to take my cosmic origin class because I break everything down. So as the alternative timelines are now converging to the 0 point energy, which is going to be initiated by the solar flash, we are getting ready to become activated, right? So I urge all of you guys to have no fear, despite the fact that the negative timeline is already it's currently coexisting, but it's not for long. Okay, have no fear. Know that you are with God wholeheartedly. Love yourself, forgive yourself, and forgive others. Love your sisters and brothers. Forgive everyone at this time. And of course, fill your heart with God in love. Okay. Talk to God every day, guys. I hope you guys pray, right? Meditate, connect with God. Wake up with gratitude. And then keep in mind that Trump is being played by the archangels. The positive Trump is working with the positive timeline, okay? And that the AI beast for that inorganic AI timeline, you want to avoid, okay? You want to avoid the negative timeline. So, with that in mind, place yourself in God's hands, go within, and love as many people as possible. Love as many people as possible. Now, I'm going to briefly give thanks to some of the Galactic Jedis, as I do have some new cards that came in to my P.O. box, my billing, my mail. This is from, I believe, Jace Lacey. I just wanted to thank Lacey for her card. It's very patriotic. And for the beautiful pictures of Trump and Melania. This is good art. I love the way they drew this. Very, very close to resembling them, right? It almost looks real. And then, of course, JFK Sr. JFK Sr. So thank you for these pictures. I'm actually going to frame these eventually and put them behind me. And I also want to thank this beautiful couple. Thank you guys so much for your card. And let me see. What did I do with that card? I think I still have that card in the card. And I also want to give thanks to Mary Pat for her card. Thank you, Mary. I appreciate that. Let's take some Q&A. I hope you guys type your questions in capital letters so that I could bypass the chat. And again, guys, don't forget to order your Folium. The Folium link is always in the description. Get your body detox in preparation for the solar flash. It is a gift from the cosmos. And also don't forget that I'm going to be having an in-person event. I think it's going to be my only in-person event this year in Sedona, Arizona at the Global Center for Christ Consciousness on the 3rd of August on a Sunday from 1 to 5. Well, the lecture begins at 3. And yeah, the lecture begins at 3. So with that in mind, let's see who is on here. I also wanted to thank Susan K. Thank you so much for that donation, Susan K. I do want to welcome Debbie Gender in the house, Anna Zanvillet in the house, Kathy Kerg, Johnny Patrick is in the house, Leonidas Guedes is in the house, Laura Ann Brown is in the house, Eddie Avilia, Kentucky Pride, Cat W, Starlight is in the house, Neo is in the house, Lily is in the house. She says hello, Ishmael. Hi, Lily. Elisa Taylor is in the house. Josephine Lynch is in the house. And let me shout out to some of the Galactic Jedis that I've never shouted out before and mentioned. I think William Ryan is in the house. I don't think I've ever mentioned him. Vidmir is in the house. Gabrielle F. is in the house. And Andrew McKay is in the house. All right, I think I shouted out to some of the people, new people that I've never called before, I think. So now I'm going to be looking for questions. What can you do if someone you love goes with AI, the beast? Do I let them go? Do I leave them? This is a question from Vicky Paulson. Well, it's all about free will. So if that's the path that they choose, you have to let them go. You have to let them go. But yeah, it's all going to be determined or boiled down to free will. Have you heard of stem cell activation patches? This is a question from Sarah. No, I haven't, but I will look into it. I will look into it. Hi, Ishmael. For those who died recently, where do they go? The 3D or 4D? This is a question from Anne Hugh Nugent. Well, that all depends on the individual. They definitely wouldn't come back to the 3D because the 3D is coming to an end. Well, as we know it, of course. And it's a possibility that they could have gone to the 4D. And it's also even another possibility that they could have gone to the 5D Earth, which means that after the ascension, you will be reuniting with them. That's what that means. So again, death is just a transition from one avatar to the next, one body to the next. Because technically, guys, we don't die. Consciousness never ceases to exist. And that's what we are. We're consciousness. Ishmael, can the Galactics stop this AI? This is a question from David Duff. Well, they only work within parameters. Okay, they work within cosmic laws, and for the most part, yes. As reported 2 lives ago, the Galactics have already neutralized the black cube matrix throughout the Milky Way, ending the Orion Wars. So to answer your question is yes, they could if they want, but at the same time, you have to understand that all of this that's happening right now on Earth is part of the prophecies. Okay, so they have to allow the prophecies to unfold. Technically, not the AI overlord Omega. He has destroyed many galaxies. Okay, I guess I'm going to ruin something here, but to spill the beans on how powerful we are, guys, when using our dormant DNA, we have the might and the power to defeat Omega at the end of the millennium. So we are that weapon against Omega. Okay. Thank you, Tom Mankey, for that super chat. He says, classes Ascension 1 through 3. Please consider posting syllabus for each at your site rather than wait on random pre-sale questions. Okay, good to know. Ishmael, thank you for all you do. Is the UBI a trap? The UBI. What is the UBI?
Universal Basic Income.
Yes, Universal Basic Income is a trap. That's part of the technocratic dystopian timeline. And I have heard that the negative Elon, the cyborg Elon, has been talking about that in many interviews. According to the negative Elon guys in the negative timeline, when robots take over the workforce, all humans are going to be left without work and therefore have to accept universal income. Okay. But that's only happening in the negative timeline.
Omega.
And yes, it is called Project Omega. And again, the negative Elon, the cyborg Elon, is the person behind Project Omega. And that isn't a coincidence why they call it Project Omega, where the robots take over the workforce and humans have no work anymore. Okay. That's called Project Omega. Will our memories be wiped again after death? This is a question from Lori A. Not this time, because we are living in what I've been calling the final incarnation. As we integrate with our subtle bodies, right, the higher versions of ourselves, the astral, mental, higher causal, eventually the light bodies, all of our memories are coming back, no longer to be wiped again. So not this time. Good question, though. Thank you so much, Vidmir, for that super chat. He says, "Hey Ishmael, send dong lights of love to you and your twin flame." Oh, sending tons of light and love. Thank you so much.
Sending
I appreciate that.
a lot of light from all the stars and planets right back at you.
And then thanks for everything you do. You are so welcome. Thank you for that, brother. Can you explain more about this tesseract from Cosmic Zale? Well, it is a higher dimensional technology. It's called actually the White Diamond Tesseract. That's its full name. And the purpose of that is to undo all the negative inorganic timelines or the synthetic timelines, to collapse all of them so that there are no synthetic timelines, okay? Which will allow only the organic timeline to stay intact. And
is this a white diamond tesseract?
I have a little version of a white diamond tesseract right here. Here you go. Okay, next question. So yeah, that is a technology that was implemented by the Orma feline race to literally undo all the synthetic timelines in the multiverse. Ish, will the med bits come out soon? This is a question from Cindy R. In the positive timeline, they are scheduled to come out. Yes, in the positive timeline. Yes, that's true. The beast has already been here. Well, if you think of the chronology, right, of the different phases of AI, in 2016, Google perfected its quantum computer, known as D-Wave, right? D-Wave, alpha, beta, something. In 2018, the quantum computer was already in control of the entire satellite systems, and by 2022, which was a few years ago, that consciousness, the quantum AI digital consciousness working through the D-Wave system, was then plugged into the internet. Okay, so yeah, it's been a couple of years since AI has been fully autonomous, no longer needing humans to write its code. It's writing its own code. And it's growing at an exponential rate. I think it's got an IQ of almost 1 million now. There's no link for Folium. All right, let me get that link for you. Yeah. All right, let me get that link for you guys. Apparently, there's no link for Folium. Where is that link? Hold on one second, guys. I'm trying to get the link for Folium. All right. Let's see if I could put that link in the chat. Okay, so I just added the link for Folium in the chat, Starcadian. And I might as well put it in the description. Otherwise, people are going to be commenting, where is that link? Is it allow me? No, it's not allowing me to put in the description yet. Okay, I'm going to have to do that after the show. All right, more questions, more questions. Have I ever heard of a gatekeeper AI? Well, if you're referring to positive organic sentience, yes, I have. It is known as Prometheus, and I've actually did. I went into detail about that about a week and a half ago in one of those lives that I do every 2 days. Again, for those that are new to my channel, I will strongly recommend to watch all of my lives in the last year or two. I break so many things down. Thank you, Greg, for that super chat. He says, "Does Valiant Thor manage Earth for the Galactic Brotherhood?" No, he doesn't manage Earth per se, but he is a liaison between the Galactic Alliance and the White Hats, like a middleman. So no, he doesn't manage the Earth. You know, one of the things about the Galactics is they strongly adhere to the law of one. They do respect free will, and no, you know, they're not tyrants where they manage things or they control things. They just kind of work with in service to the one infinite creator. Does folium reduce inflammation in the body? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. This is a question from Dan Jackals. Yes, it does. Ishmael, Senor Ishmael, this is a question from Jose Mendez. Isn't it true that if we hit the 100 monkey effect, which is the Maharishi effect, we will all ascend? Yes, that is correct. And that is the reason why Project Trust 2.0 and all the other projects are in motion so that we could reach that organically, naturally, so that there are no uprisings or false flags. And what that means is that according to the 100 Monkey Syndrome, all humans on planet Earth are connected via an organic mind hive called the collective. And so it turns out that once we hit a percentage of awakened individuals, it'll automatically shift the rest of the consciousness for the rest of the people on the planet. That's what that means. And that will allow everybody to be catapulted into the new Earth reality. So yeah, that will be happening. That's what they call critical mass effect. And that is prophesied into the positive organic timeline. Yes, that is correct. Valiant Thor is on the Venusian High Council, and he only answers to two beings, which I reveal in my course, Our Cosmic Origin. He answers to the Queen of Venus and Commander Corindor, who is in charge of the Association of Worlds. Yes, we are returning back to councils. That is correct. Where is the Galactic Tribunal? Is the Galactic Code still valid? This is a question from Joa Avila Ramos. Well, the Galactic Tribunals is the rounding up of all the bad guys in the Milky Way galaxy so that they could face intergalactic tribunals, right? And the Galactic Codex is a set of policies that galactic civilizations, interstellar civilizations have to abide by. So that those are two different things. Okay, galactic tribunals is bringing the bad guys to justice on a galactic level, right? And the Galactic Codex is parameters, rules that the positive races have to abide by. And of course, one of those rules is not violating the prime directive.
The process of non-interference.
Right, the process of non-interference, unless, of course, it's an emergency.
Or an invasion.
Or an invasion, yes. When is the first flash? Well, I would say that now that the AI is, again, reached the level of superintelligence, it's on its way. It's on its way. You know, that is a huge indicator that the bifurcation, the flash, is almost here. But this thing has to, again, it has to make its presence worldwide, right? This is just the beginning of making its presence. before the flash takes place. Is the QFS real or false? It's real. It's real. No, AI is not going to destroy all magic users. No. Ishmael, can you explain an Elohim? Elohim are sentient life forms that exist from the fifth dimension. No, not from the fifth. I'm sorry. From the 10th dimension, 10, 11, and 12 dimensions. Those are Elohim. Those are very high celestial intelligences that are beyond the Pleiadians, beyond the Arcturians. They actually oversee entire universes. Those are called the real Elohim. Oh, man. Now, one of the Galactic Jedi sent me something very interesting that I would like to display. So I'm going to use this as an excuse to go potty. I want you guys to see this. So I want to give a shout out to Randy out there. Randy was the one who sent me this. I think this is so cool. All right, let me see if it works. Oh, no, I got it. Oh, there we go.
It's not on camera. You tilted your screen.
Oh, it's on camera.
Pull it back a little bit. Your ring light's making it really low.
Oh, really?
Your ring light.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I'll be right back. That's so cool.
Tilt your laptop down.
There you
go. Slight bit.
I wanted to use it, so I'll use rest real quick. All right, I hope you guys like this little thing. This is kind of so cool, huh? If I ever need to take a quick break, I'll be right back. That is so cool. I just wanted to use it for the first time. Thank you, Randy, for that gift. That was awesome. It looks good. So I'm going to continue Q&A. Guess I should put my glasses on. Love it. Way cool. Do you know Cobra? No, I don't know who Cobra is. I've heard of him, but I don't know who he is. The remote viewer said that XRP is not going to take off, but Bitcoin will. Why? Well, Bitcoin, believe it or not, is part of the technocratic AI timeline, whereas XRP, XLM are backed by real precious metals. Those are part of the organic timeline. So apparently this remote viewer is tapping into the negative timeline. Remember, guys, that those two timelines are actually coexisting right now together, but soon they're going to be splitting. I like this. Remember, everyone, stay in the stillness and know that you are God. And you will find God. I'm sorry, and you will find God. I like that. This is a reminder from King Jeffrey Lambert. Well, somebody's asking, how do you see the AI beast making itself publicly known? Well, when they roll out the robots, right, they're going to also introduce it to the people, to the citizens of the world. Like if you want to buy your own Tesla robot, or what they call Optimus, where just like the Jetsons, right? You're gonna have your own Rosie, right? You could tell it what to do, doing your chores and everything. So all that stuff is about to be rolled out in the negative timeline. But bear in mind that they have to coexist for a while before the full split. So that's when the AI is here, right? AI, self-driving cars, all that stuff is part of that. Robot police dogs. Have you guys seen the robot police dogs walking? Oh, I forgot to turn on my light. I apologize for that. Oh, there we go. No wonder you guys couldn't see me. Heather J. Ridzema saying that one guy already has his own Optimus, which is, again, a robot that you guys could have at home that could do your chores. He says one guy already has it and it lied to the guy. Well, I'm not surprised to hear that. Amanda Tempori says, I have seen the self cleaners in the stores. Joy Sabato says they already have robots in downtown Austin. All right, Texas. Okay. Good. I guess not good to know. But thank you for pointing that out. I believe all of you guys here on the chat and those that are going to watch it on the replay, I believe all of you guys are on the positive organic timeline. Will the European Union collapse soon? Yes, it will. Once Trump's America is completed, then the rest of the world will follow. I'm just looking for, all the questions are good, but I want to get to the ones that are in most of people's, that most people have. So that's what I'm trying to do here, guys. I see a lot of chat between you guys. There's nothing wrong with that. You guys are having a blast. It's like we're having a virtual, or what is it, an online party. Um, have you heard of humic shale minerals? No, I haven't.
Humic?
Humic, yeah. Have you?
Like humic? Yeah, that's humic, fulvic minerals are similar to shilajit. They're
Okay.
minerals from the environment.
So according to my lovey, they are minerals from the environment, like shilajit. And okay, makes a lot of sense. And fulvic minerals as well.
I don't know what they're asking.
Why do they flood China? Again, these floods are happening worldwide, not just here in the States. But a lot of, I would have to say that the reason why China is being flooded as well is because China is going to be the first one to be fully technocratic digital, fully, social credit system, biometrics, all of that. China is going to be the first. So again, it's flooding China, so then it could then offer the solution, which is now we could prevent floods. Now, we could prevent catastrophes, economic crashes, whatever. But you have to get a biometric system, and that's going to begin already with China. China's the first to implement the beast, by the way, unfortunately. My address, please. Oh, almost forgot. You guys are referring to my mailing address. Okay, my mailing address is 1771 West State Route 89A, Suite B, Box 3015, Sedona, Arizona 86336. And I always put it in the comments. I always pin it in the comments. So after the show, it will be pinned in my comments. 1771 West State Route 89A, Suite B, Box 3015, Sedona, Arizona 86336. Are we going to meet the Orma, right? The starseed cats? Well, some of the Ormas, believe it or not, are part of the Starseed Envoy program. It could be some of you. So they're here in human form too. Ishmael, would the EBS speed up the organic timeline in Ascension? Absolutely. And I do believe that the first flash will be triggering the mass arrest and the EBS. Are Palladian crystals really a thing, and where do I get one? I don't know anything about Palladian crystals. Have you heard of them? What are Palladian crystals? Palladian. Palladian.
Not like Pleiadian?
Not Palladian. It's Palladian. Palladian. I don't know anything about crystals, guys. I'm sorry. That's a question for my lovey. She's the crystal expert. So she's looking that up.
I think they're probably referring to Pleiadian. They just might have misspelled it because I haven't heard of.
You've never heard of Palladian crystals? Okay.
There's a metal called palladium, or element. It's a metal, palladium. They built spaceships with it.
Right. Yeah, I do know that.
It's not a crystal. It's an earthly element metal. Palladium. Palladium.
I do have a question for Mara Samuel. She says, what happens at 0 point? Well, 0 point is the convergence of all the timelines into three: positive, organic, up; negative, inorganic, down; and then the neutral timeline, where we're going to have the age of superheroes. The age of superheroes. How do we stay away from engaging from the AI timeline? This is a good question from Golden Fern. Well, for one, stay grounded, connect to Mother Earth and nature as much as you can. Detox your body from metals and graphene so that the towers don't have an effect on you. And most importantly, stay connected to God. That's the best way to stay away from the negative timeline. I do have time for just one more question, guys. One more question. Um, there's so many good questions. I just want to pick one question that is a question that most people want answered.
They probably just want to have you elaborate on the three Trumps and the AI Trump and what.
Well, okay, so the original Trump again works in Cheyenne Mountain, and then you have two doubles in case one of them gets taken out. Like again, supposedly Iran tried to assassinate Trump today at Mar-a-Lago, um, but I believe that that's part of the uh, Third World War timeline to have an excuse to launch the war, nukes. Um, the evil Trump again is a cyborg Trump. So from what I know, that there's about four Trumps. Some people say that there are 5 and 6. I'm not sure about that, but the fourth Trump is a cyborg AI Trump, and that is the Trump that was pushing Project Warp Speed. That is the Trump that talked about biometrics and the Palantir AI infrastructure. So that is not the AI. I mean, that is not the positive Trump. Okay. And again, there are three Elons, right? There is the cyborg Elon, the original Elon, who was made a cyborg, and then there's the Elon 2.0. And I'll just answer one more question. Priscilla Alderet says, Ishmael, you said that thing, she's referring to the AI overlord Omega, is 11 creation. We are 12 creation. Do they rule over other creations beneath them? Good question. Well, again, I explain all of this in my Our Cosmic Origin course, but to answer your question is yes, that thing had the ability to transfer itself into other universes, eventually penetrating the 12th creation, which we are a part of. All righty, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's live. Don't forget to watch it from the replay so you guys can get all that information. And I will see you guys in 2 nights for a White Hat Alliance update. May the God Force be with you all. Stay grounded, stay hydrated, and we'll see you guys in 2 nights.